Welcome back to Movies TV Mad. You can follow me on Twitter at Movies TV Mad, and welcome to Tuesday's edition of the DCEU Daily. I am not one for small talk, so let's get down to it. DC Films head will reportedly deny Amber Heard's Aquaman 2 claims. Now there's a surprise. DC Films head Walter Hamada will reportedly testify. He won't be testifying in trial about crimes against DC live action and hiding from his consumer, no. But he will be testifying in the ongoing Amber Heard Johnny Depp defamation trial and deny Heard's claims about Aquaman 2 by Adam Bentz of Screen Rant. DC Films head Walter Hamada will reportedly deny Amber Heard's claims about her role being cut from Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. Heard made her DC Extended Universe debut with a brief appearance in 2017's Justice League as Mira, an Atlantean who approaches Arthur Curry to discuss the nature of the Mother Boxes. Following Mira's introduction, Heard returned for a much more substantial role in 2018's Aquaman, essentially acting as the co-lead alongside Jason Momoa in a movie that grossed over $1 billion at the box office. Not forgetting, she very kindly, and I'll say this, I know I have different opinions about Amber, but she kindly came back to reprise her role as Mira in Zack Snyder's Justice League Snyder Cut, and I'm glad that she did. It was good, she did well, fair's fair. Heard was brought back for the upcoming sequel titled Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, which finished filming in January 2022 and is scheduled to be released on March 17, 2023. During the highly publicized defamation trial brought against Heard by her ex-husband Johnny Depp, the actress testified that Warner Brothers significantly pared down her role as Mira in Aquaman 2 as a result of the legal issues involving Depp. Heard also testified that she was released from her contract and is unsure if she will even appear in the sequel at all. This will be interesting when Hamada does take the stand. Will he be asked to clarify if she will be in the cut of the movie, or will he say, I can't tell you that because of, NDRs or whatever they call them, non-disclosure agreements, NDAs should I say. So he could get out of it that way. Now, a new report from Deadline reveals that Hamada will testify in the ongoing Heard defamation trial and deny the actress's claims about her role being cut from Aquaman 2. According to the report, Hamada will tell the judge and jury that Heard suffered no negative reaction from WB in regards to her Aquaman role as a result of the legal action brought against her by Depp. The WB executive is expected to take the stand virtually on Tuesday, May the 24th. How do they know this? How do Variety know this? Because Variety is the go-to site media platform that Warner Brothers tell everything to. So Warner Brothers' claim is that the issue wasn't because of Heard's legal problems with Depp, but that there was issues with on-screen chemistry between her and Jason Momoa. Here's the problem. They didn't have any issue with having her as a co-lead in the first film. Of course, it's utter bullshit. The current DC Films head will testify as a rebuttal witness for Depp, who claims to have been fired from the Fantastic Beasts and Pirates of the Caribbean franchise as a result of Heard's allegations of domestic abuse. Now, this is where the problem is. This is why Depp's bringing him on as a rebuttal witness, because Hamada works for the very studio that sacked him. If they could prove the real reasons for Heard's role being reduced, which is because of her legal troubles with Johnny Depp, then he could then take Warner Brothers to court for removing him or forcing him to resign from Fantastic Beasts and the Secrets of Dumbledore. So this is a very big problem for Warner Brothers Pictures. And sexual assault against him. Heard's recent testimony mirrors Depp's claiming that these legal issues have negatively impacted her career as an actor. If Heard's claims about her role in Aquaman 2 are in fact true, Hamada will likely point to concerns over her chemistry with co-star Jason Momoa, which there have been reports of, as the reason for her role. as Mira being reduced or cut entirely rather than the ongoing legal controversy. As I say, these issues didn't come up in the first movie. Why are they coming up now? As I say, this is bullshit. Now, Depp has got a crack legal team. So if they're able to prove while he's on the stand that he's bullshitting, I mean, it will be difficult to prove, but personally, I would, as a lawyer, I would say, hang on, why weren't these chemistry problems an issue in the first movie? Because she was married to Johnny Depp. Since his tenure at DC Films began in 2018, Hamada has certainly been no stranger to controversy himself. He's directly dealt with both Justice League actor Ray Fisher's allegations. Well, he hasn't dealt with them, by the way. He's ran away and hid. Against him and the Flash star Ezra Miller's recent legal troubles as the Depp-Heard defamation trial winds down, with closing arguments set to begin on May the 27th, Hamada's testimony regarding Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom could actually prove to be crucial to the outcome of the trial. So I can't help laugh about this as I read it. Right, I don't think anyone's denying that she's in under 10 minutes of Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. How can you take the stand as a DC Films president, basically knowing that the cat's out of the bag, that Amber Heard is under 10 minutes of footage in Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, and sit there under oath and say she didn't suffer anything because of her legal problems with Johnny Depp? And this thing, them citing the bad chemistry between her and Jason Momoa, is bullshit. Now, we could see the bad chemistry between her and Jason Momoa in the first film, but somehow James Wan and Jason and Amber herself were able to pull it off. It actually came across really charming with them those two on screen together. It worked, but no one is swallowing this bullshit from Warner Brothers Pictures and Walter Hamada. I think in this instance we can say we believe Amber. Let's continue on the subject of Amber Heard. Aquaman 2 plot spoilers revealed at Johnny Depp v Amber Heard trial. Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom won't be released in theatres for nearly a year, but it's been at the centre of many recent conversations surrounding the DCEU due to Amber Heard's defamation trial against Johnny Depp. As the trial nears its final stages, with Heard and Depp both taking the stand, various stories are coming to light regarding Heard's place in her next DC outing. While Heard herself has shared her thoughts on what Warner Brothers did with her role due to her ongoing legal battle over big names from the studio, have taken the stand to give a clear picture of what exactly happened. Most recently, DC president of films Walter Hamada expressed that Heard didn't face any repercussions and was welcomed back to the film through this ugly situation, although the details about the truth are still quite unclear. Before I carry on with this, you should understand that it was James Wan and Jason Momoa who insisted Amber come back to the production for the sequel. Warner Brothers and Hamada did not want her back. I have heard this from people who are very, very well connected at Warner Brothers. That's a fact. One of Heard's biggest claims during the trial has been that her role in Aquaman 2 was diminished significantly, even as her co-stars and co-workers openly spoke about their joy and excitement about bringing her back for a second solo Aquaman movie. Now, in the latest development from the trial, an outside consultant has stepped up to the stand to add another layer of information to everything that took place, all while teasing what's coming in the Aquaman sequel as well. So there will be some spoilers for Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom here. Very small spoilers, but they are spoilers. So if you don't want to find this out until you see the movie, if you see the movie, by the way, one of the reasons it was delayed was this shit show. There's so many reasons why all these movies were delayed this year. What a shit show. Anyway, you've been warned. Spoilers ahead. Catherine Arnold, an entertainment industry consultant, took the stand at the defamation trial between Amber Heard and Johnny Depp, revealing key plot points concerning Heard's role in Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. After saying that Heard's role was cut down significantly from what it once was, Arnold shared that the movie has heard Mira. Sorry, let's say that again. Arnold shared that the movie has heard Mira in hospital quite quickly during the movie's first act. Quickly, get her in hospital! We don't want to give her any more screen time than we have to. Quite quickly during the movie's first act. This kept Mira from being part of a major action sequence that she was originally supposed to have in the movie's final moments. Let me ask you a question. What does issues between the, what do issues involving chemistry between Jason Momoa and Amber Heard have to do with removing her from an action sequence? Yes, as I said earlier, in this instance, I believe Amber. This is Catherine Arnold's quote. They had her in the hospital very shortly in the first part of the movie called Act 1. They had her in the hospital, and they pretty much had her in the hospital, and then she was going to do this action sequence in the end. Arnold shared that Mira is either injured in the first part of the film or that her absence has something to do with her pregnancy. We at the Direct exclusively reported on Mira being pregnant and her and Arthur Curry's child for most of the film. Now, this is interesting because they could even change this and say she's in some kind of a coma, an Atlantean coma or something like that where she could die. They could change this at any time because all these DCEU movies, as I keep on saying, are in flux and they're changing all the time. Later on, I will explain to you what's happening in June with the Flash movie. A lot of you will reject me as a liar, but I've been pretty spot on about this movie since it's been delayed. Someone like me doesn't always give you the news you want to hear. It doesn't mean what I'm saying isn't true. I believe that in the first act of the movie she was injured somehow or has something to do with the baby. Amber Heard mostly removed from Aquaman 2, ? It seemed inevitable that this trial would touch on Amber Heard's status within the DCEU, especially since her role in the Aquaman franchise is one of only 2 credits on her resume, which is nuts. From the past 4 years, it's clear that she wanted to make the most out of her place in the story and her time on screen after so much training for the role. But due to this trial, there are questions about whether her reported actions caused Warner Brothers to take such drastic action against her. While she seems to be involved with the sequel's first act, according to these quotes, the movie's core runtime may not include much of Heard at all. If she's laid up in a hospital bed for some undisclosed reason, whether this is due to her suffering some kind of injury or simply recovering from her pregnancy is a mystery, and there are signs pointing to the actress largely being absent from the rest of the story after this event. With only a few more days remaining in this trial against Johnny Depp, Heard's status in Aquaman 2 will remain a mystery at least until the movie's promotional tour begins later this year. As I say, anything can happen. After that, the actress behind Mira may possibly leave the franchise altogether, which could depend on the results of the trial as well. I think they've already sacked her. Right, there's one thing that Johnny Depp and Amber Heard agree on, and they don't agree on anything else. They agree that her role in Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom was reduced due to her legal problems with Johnny Depp. Amber, this time, is telling the truth. Warner Brothers Pictures are in so much trouble here because, as I said earlier, if they can prove this, that her role was reduced because of that, then they can prove Warner Brothers removed Johnny Depp from Fantastic Beasts and the Secrets of Dumbledore because of his legal problems as well. This, my friends, is just the beginning. You fucked with the wrong Marine, Warner Brothers and Extreme Left Entertainment. You didn't know what was going to happen to you. Your agenda is horrible and it's toxic, and the man in Johnny Depp is going to teach you a very, very serious lesson. I want to return back to those quotes from Sasha Calle the other day because Screen Rant have written this up into an article and are discussing it, and I want to tell you what's going on here. The Flash movie stars Sasha Calle on being first Latina Supergirl in DCEU. The Flash movie star Sasha Calle talks about being the first Latina actress to portray Supergirl as the Girl of Steel is joining the DCEU in 2023. That's what she thinks. By Andy, whose surname I can never pronounce, from Screen Rant. Sasha Calle, who is set to star in the Flash movie, talks about being the first Latina actress to portray Supergirl as she joins the DCEU in 2023. Over the last 10 years, Supergirl has received more attention in live action, primarily through Melissa Benoist, who portrayed Supergirl on the CW in the Arrowverse. However, the Girl of Steel is set to make a return to the big screen in 2023, with Sasha Calle bringing the heroine to life cinematically. This will be the first time since Helen Slater's Supergirl movie in 1984 that the DC icon takes flight in theatres. Let's see if that ever happens. However, Supergirl will not be starting out in her own movie, but instead in The Flash from director Andy Muschietti. Calle, who was cast in February 2021, has been one of the biggest mysteries for The Flash throughout its production. While set photos revealed her costume, it's still a little unclear what version of Supergirl the creative team is going for as she makes her DCEU debut. Well, I've already told you that exclusively. She is Flashpoint Supergirl, replacing not only Flashpoint Superman, but replacing Henry Cavill's Superman going forward in the DCEU. Of course, this was pre-David Zaslav, you know. This is BD. No, BS. Well, they're not good initials, are they? But you know what I mean. But now Zaslav is there, and things are changing, things are being cancelled. You'll be lucky to even see Calle as Supergirl in a Flash movie, or in any movie, or maybe they'll give her her own movie and introduce her differently, you know, as Henry Cavill's equal in a Superman Supergirl movie. Maybe they will do that. This thing isn't going to happen any longer. Anyway, given the multiverse inclusion in The Flash, the Supergirl that Calle is portraying may not be from the same Earth as the DCEU's Barry Allen, but only time will tell. She's Flashpoint Supergirl, so she's from the Flashpoint universe. While the Flash movie was initially slated to release this November, Warner Brothers pushed the film back to June 2023, even though it will be some time before more information about her Supergirl is revealed. Calle recently spoke to V Magazine about her experience becoming the beloved hero in the DCEU. Without revealing any spoilers, Calle spoke heavily about working with the Flash director Muschietti, a man we haven't heard from ever since the delays. And even before the delays, where is Andy Muschietti? If anyone's seen Andy Muschietti, please let me know. I'm very, very concerned about him. I hope he's not being hidden round Walter Hamada's house or something, right? Experience becoming the beloved hero in the DCEU. Without revealing any spoilers, Calle spoke heavily about working with the Flash director Muschietti and the wonderful opportunity he presented to her in being cast as Supergirl. During filming, Calle got emotional over seeing herself in action, knowing that she was the first Latina actress ever to portray the infamous Kryptonian hero, sharing the following. It's fun, isn't it? I'm an Anglo-Greek Cypriot. Imagine I was playing Jack Bauer or someone I've always wanted to play, the Doctor, Doctor Who, and I saw myself in Russia. Oh my God, I'm the first Anglo-Greek Cypriot to play the Doctor. Fuck off. I'm saying, Jesus Christ, that's me looking awesome up there. So this is what she had to say. We've already kind of gone over this, but we'll go over it again because I have something more to say about this. Representation in the entertainment industry really matters, and I'm super honoured, honestly, to be the first Latina Supergirl. There was a moment when we were shooting when Andy, the Flash director, Andres Muschietti, was like, hey, come over here and watch this scene on the playback monitor. And I go over and I see her Supergirl, and she's in her full glory. And suddenly I got really emotional because I'm looking at that and I'm like, wow, I wish I would have had this when I was let's say that again. I'm like, wow, I wish I would have had this when I was little. In other words, she wished she had a Latina Supergirl when she was little. But when you were little, there was no Supergirl, was there, Sasha? It meant a lot to me. I turned into a child, Sasha, watching this person on the screen. So it's really important, and I'm really happy and really thankful to DC and Warner Brothers for doing this now. It's so cool that we're doing this. And you know, it's about time. Yeah, do you remember that About Time promotional marketing when we had the first female Doctor? Unfortunately, they didn't give her any character or personality. It's all about optics. It's now all about seeing yourself on the screen and not seeing someone up on screen and thinking, wow, I wish I could be that hero. Whether it's a Latina woman or a Latina man or a white man, as I say, Greek Cypriot, olive skin, Superman was white when I was a kid. That didn't stop me identifying with the ultimate immigrant, right? Because my parents were immigrants as well. So this stance by the extreme left is utter bullshit, and we all know that. But I will explain to you in a minute why she's saying this. The Flash's Calais is one of a handful of actresses to have ever suited up as Supergirl, alongside Benoist and Slater. Lara Vanderwaal played Kara Kent on Smallville in Season 7, while appearing for a few episodes in Season 8 and 10. Only time will tell if Calais' Supergirl is still Kara or perhaps Lara Lane Kent, as online theories have suggested due to the costume design that she has in the movie. Even if she's still Kara, it remains to be seen if the DCEU film will still retain her status as Superman's cousin, whether it be Henry Cavill's Kal-El or a Man of Steel from another universe. Calais being the first Latina to get cast as Supergirl is something that has been seen with other superhero properties as well. A prime example is that both the Flash TV show and the movie have Iris West being played by black actresses, with Candice Patton in the Arrowverse while Kiersey Clemens stars in the DCEU version. I'll speak about Kiersey in a moment. Since the Flash will focus a lot on the multiverse, there is no reason why Supergirl, should she be from a parallel Earth, couldn't look different. Having more inclusivity in properties like the DCIPs allows for the representation and for these films and TV shows to reflect the real world. Hollywood couldn't reflect the real world if they tried. They live in a bubble. They don't fucking know the real world. TV shows to reflect the real world. With Calais making her debut in the Flash movie next year, hopefully it also leads to Supergirl getting her own DCEU film down the line. I have no issue with Latina representation because I don't think Latino people get enough representation, and it's all about the most represented minority, and that, of course, is black people and African American people. But so it's great. I believe the Hamada original plan was to have her replace Superman, and then Superman, Cavill's Superman, and Batfleck to all come back in a Final Crisis story. It's pretty exciting, right? I still don't like her replacing Superman, but it sounded pretty epic. But why? The timing's interesting, as I said the other day. Why is she coming out with these quotes now? The kind of quotes you come out with when it's just a month or two before you release a movie. These are more scare tactics from Toby Emmerich, the Warner Brothers Pictures chairman. He thinks if he can put pressure on David Zaslav, via Sasha Calais talking about representation and inclusion and saying it's about time, this will intimidate David Zaslav enough to not cancel the movie or reshoot it with a new lead and a new director. Yes, again, Toby Emmerich is fighting for his life, and he doesn't care what motives, what tactics he tries to save his life. I have a very exciting Blue Beetle casting rumour. I mean, really exciting. I've been really hyped that Blue Beetle is actually shooting its movie right now. So surely we're going to get to see that movie next year in theatres, and nothing can stop that from happening, right? Right? You can't trust this studio. And with a brand new leadership, anything can happen and go wrong. But for the time being, we're getting this movie quite right too. Can't wait. Here's your casting rumour, and it's exciting. Jason Sudeikis rumoured to join DC Universe as superhero. Now how exciting is this? Fans were nervous about learning that Sharon Stone, quickly replaced by Susan Sarandon, will be playing Victoria Cold in Blue Beetle, who would reportedly be the villain. This wasn't a great sign for Ted Kord, who either always ends up dead or kidnapped before he can mentor Xolo Maradura's Jamie Reyes. It's been theorised that Victoria could be the wife of Ted Kord, taking control of her husband's company, Kord Industries. So either she makes Ted Kord a victim of matricide, or has him tied up in a basement somewhere for Reyes to save. But a recent listing for the film should make fans of the classic character happy, as it points to Ted Kord appearing in Blue Beetle and being played by a fan favourite actor. Lizzie Hill of Cosmic Circus, so basically we can't really give this any kind of fortitude or kind of confirm this is true, but anyway, Cosmic Circus discovered a listing on Facebook from Bill Marinella Casting that confirms the character Ted Kord will appear in Blue Beetle. I hope it's true. The post also indicates that the role will be played by Jason Sudeikis, the star of Ted Lasso. I love Ted Lasso. I know probably most of you or some of you do as well. This would be awesome. According to Hill, she was able to confirm the appearance of Ted Kord through her own sources, but these sources suggested that he would be regulated to flashbacks and have only a minor role. Well, why doesn't that surprise me? So they probably, if it is flashbacks, they're probably killing him off, and that's a shame. Maybe he used to be a mentor of the main Blue Beetle in this film. Who knows what they're doing, but he's a man, so they're going to reduce him to flashbacks, of course. Welcome to modern day Hollywood. It's a shame. It is where we are. The only way we could stop what they're doing is not going to the cinema. But I don't boycott films. Unfortunately, they win against me because I love this shit. I'm a DC live action fan, and I want to taste something before I can say it's good or bad. Additionally, this listing also implies that Bruna Marquez, set to play the female lead and love interest of Xolo Maradula's as Jamie Reyes, is related to Ted Kord. But it's unknown if Marquezine will be playing Ted Kord's daughter or another relative. Interesting. Who is Victoria Kord? Considering the age difference between Susan Sarandon and Jason Sudeikis, which is 29 years, she likely isn't his wife. Yeah, that's a good point. Could it be a son? Unless Ted Kord died a few decades ago, yes, that's the thing. If it's flashbacks, he can be Jason's age anyway. And his appearance in Blue Beetle is truly just flashback sequences. Unfortunately, it also makes Victoria being Ted's sister just as unlikely too. So it leaves only two viable options. Either Victoria Kord is Ted's mother or his aunt. But the latter seems the most likely. But if we're dealing with flashbacks, he could still be that young. You know, if they were married for many, many years. Since in the comics and cartoons, Ted Kord had an antagonistic uncle, Jarvis Kord, so it's expected that Susan Sarandon is playing a gender-swapped iteration of the character. Now, why doesn't that surprise me? Hollywood have never done that before, have they? However, that doesn't bode too well for Ted Kord's chances of survival, since Jarvis had indirectly caused Ted's death in the cartoon, The Brave and the Bold, before Reyes had the opportunity to meet him. Additionally, in the comics, while Jarvis didn't kill Ted Kord, he had killed the Blue Beetle before him, Dan Garrett, which is when Ted inherited the superhero title. However, Victoria has reasons to keep Ted Kord alive, and well, so that fans can enjoy Jason Sudeikis' performance as the classic superhero, and maybe even team up with Booster Gold down the line. Fans will see Ted Kord's fate when they see Blue Beetle in theatres on August the 18th, 2023. Very, very interesting. Whatever they're doing in terms of Ted and Victoria Kord, I know Ted's a big character in comic book lore, and I get that. But the important thing is Jamie has not been gender swapped. He is a Latina. He's a Latino, should I say? I think Latino is the male version and the Latina is female. I think I kind of just worked that out anyway. So he is a Latino in the comics, so it's all very accurate, and I'm very much looking forward to this film. And bringing in Jason Sudeikis, even for a reduced role, if that's the case, is fucking awesome. And I say, bring it on. If they're doing something good, positive, that I'm looking forward to, I'm going to say so. I don't have an agenda against Walter Hamada and the studio. I want DC live action to be the to be the best it can possibly be. And right now, it's so far away from that. Let's talk about Iris West in the Flash movie. She was cut from Justice League, so this poor actress has been messed about with since 2017. We're talking about 5 years now. So she is in this movie, but she has a very, very reduced role. So when we talk about Latina representation, this black woman is barely in the film. Now let's discuss what's happening in June with the Flash movie. I expect the Flash movie to get huge reshoots in June. I believe this will be with a brand new director and it's been rewritten by somebody else. That's what I think is happening in June. I could absolutely be wrong about this, but that's my opinion and what I'm hearing on the grapevine. And I do believe a brand new actor is playing the Flash. So how long can they keep this under wraps? I don't know. And going back to Sasha Calle, first of all, they attempted to use Michael Keaton's Batman as promotional material for the Flash movie. Now they're using Sasha Calle, you know, a young, popular actress. They will use anyone in the promotions of this movie, apart from the lead, Ezra Miller, for obvious reasons. We carry on with today's DCEU Daily. Green Lantern TV show update shared by Star. This is very interesting. This is going to be one of the most expensive streaming shows of all time. But I do have my suspicions that it's not going to happen. I know I keep on saying that a lot, but it's an absolute mess. It's all in flux now, mainly because we have new leadership. Jeremy Irvine, one of the stars of the upcoming Green Lantern TV show, gives an update about the DC Comics HBO Max series from Greg Berlanti by Andy, whose surname again I can't pronounce. Jeremy Irvine, who will play Alan Scott on the Green Lantern TV show, provides updates on the HBO Max drama and more. While the CW has been a big destination for DC TV content over the last 10 years, HBO Max is becoming the new primary platform for Warner Brothers. Since the launch of the HBO branded streaming service, Warner Brothers has used it to roll out more content from the DC universe. One of the biggest TV shows that the studio is working on is Green Lantern, from executive producer Greg Berlanti, the mastermind behind the Arrowverse mastermind. That's good. I like that, Andy. That's funny. Oh, I'm sorry. Andy actually believes Greg Berlanti is a mastermind. Green Lantern, which was first announced in 2019, will be Berlanti's second attempt at the Emerald Knights, following the 2011 film starring Ryan Reynolds. Now, this is funny, yeah. Berlanti was involved with the flop Green Lantern movie. Proof that in Hollywood, you fail upwards if you've got the right DNA. Unlike the movie, HBO Max's Green Lantern will focus on several heroes of the DC title, including Guy Gardner, Simon Baz, Jessica Cruz, Alan Scott and more. Now this is interesting about Jessica Cruz. There's been a rumour on the internet that Jessica Cruz and Jon Stewart will be the lead Green Lanterns moving forward in the DCEU. Now this is interesting. Now, because Jon Stewart isn't supposed to be in this show. It wouldn't surprise me if they scrap this show and they do a movie starring Jessica Cruz and Jon Stewart. Now, a lot of you are going to say, oh, this is so woke. But this is good woke. They're great characters and all they have to do is actually do them justice, which is asking a lot. But I'd be down with that. Because we've seen Hal Jordan in a movie, right? I'd like to see him again. Hopefully he could be involved in that movie. So I don't have any issues with that rumour. But from what I can see, there isn't really even a DCEU anymore. Anyway, Baz, Jessica Cruz, Alan Scott and more. The DC drama, which was picked up to series in October 2020. Don't forget, this October, that will be 2 years ago, and still nothing. Has Seth Grahame-Smith attached as the showrunner with a 10-episode order for season 1. Since 2021, there hasn't been much movement on casting for Green Lantern, which stars Finn Wittrock as Guy Gardner, while Jeremy Irvine is portraying Alan Scott, the Golden Age Green Lanterns. While Green Lantern hasn't moved forward as much as expected, the HBO Max product is still on its way. Now, he doesn't know this. or maybe he does know this. You know, when I say journalists, entertainment journalists, they're not real journalists who search out stories. Half the time, this site gets stuff off of Twitter. In a new Metro interview, Irvine was asked about the Green Lantern project and whether or not he has tried on his costume yet since getting cast in the role. Irvine hasn't done any costume fitting yet. And if they haven't done any costume fitting, that means they're nowhere near shooting, if they'll ever shoot. However, the 31-year-old actor did specify that when he was offered the gig, the Green Lantern creative team informed him how long it would take to make the Alan Scott costume, sharing the following. I haven't yet. As far as I know, there's not a firm start date yet, but when they offered me the role, they did say it was going to be about 2 or 3 months to make the outfit. You see, now they're trying to pretend. Obviously, it's going to take time to make the outfit, but don't forget, as I said in October, this would have been announced 2 years ago. So this is bullshit anyway. They've made the costume ages ago. Now they're going to have to fit my paunch into it. It's supposed to be a joke. Alan, who is best known as the Emerald Knight of the Justice Society of America, will have his story set in 1941 as the very first human Green Lantern in this iteration of the hero. Alan is an FBI agent while also pulling duties as Green Lantern, very much like his comic book counterpart. Alan will be depicted as gay. The show will take place across multiple decades, with Wittrock's Green Lantern operating in 1984. Other roles that remain to be cast are Simon, Jessica Sinestro, and Bree Jarta, who will be an original creation for the series. Yeah, they had an original character called Bree Jarta. Now, she's an original creation. So probably, if this ever happens, which I don't think it will, but I think this character will probably be transgender. I don't have any strong opinions about that, but this is the direction Hollywood are going in. Representation, inclusion, and all of that jazz. So I guess that's what they were doing. That's why she's an original character. While it has undoubtedly been a long process for the Green Lantern TV show, there are a lot of factors to take into account. This is where the bullshit comes in. For starters, HBO Max has stated that Green Lantern will be one of the most expensive DC shows of all time, and certainly for Berlanti, who has produced multiple Arrowverse shows, the studio is also looking at Green Lantern as one of their crucial DC properties, with Green Lantern Corps movie seemingly still in development. And if you believe that, since HBO Max has already handed out a 10-episode order, perhaps they wanted to have all the scripts written before getting filming underway, which will be VFX heavy. Hopefully there will be more news about Green Lantern sooner rather than later. Right. This show sounds fucking amazing. And the fact that it's spread through different decades with different lanterns, you know, Alan Scott, you know, and different characters, it's going to be... or it would have been amazing, because I don't believe it's happening. So very ambitious, very expensive. Wow, this could really bring money. But what will David Zaslav think of this project? As we've already said, it's really expensive. He didn't want to do Wonder Twins because he didn't think it was worth the investment. Now, he could look at this Green Lantern project and say, wow, people love Green Lantern, and if it's done well on our platform, it could win us a lot of money. Here's the problem. Having a really, really expensive, you know, show that could cost them up to $200 million for one season, 10 episodes, which is pretty much like a movie, but spread out throughout decades, are you ever going to get that type of money back via streaming sponsorships and subs? You're not. So what's the best thing to do here? Basically, take that concept, if you can, and it's a better concept in serial format, no question, but I think that Zaslav will want this to be moved as a movie. However they do that, if they change it up. This sounds very ambitious, but far too expensive. So keep it here on Movies TV Mad to find out more as we find out more about this project. Wow, this is a really fully packed show full of so much content today, and it's all already nearly 40 minutes long. You don't know how long this is going to take to upload, and it's going to eat up my Wi-Fi, but it's so worth it. Superman and Lois Season 3, new villain details teased by Star. One of the stars of Superman and Lois teases the next villain for Season 3, which will officially premiere on the CW in mid-season 2023, again by Andy, whose surname I can't pronounce. One of the stars of Superman and Lois teases the villain for season 3, which will air in the 2022-2023 TV season. And while the CW will look significantly different next season in terms of its DC TV shows, one of the returning dramas is Superman and Lois, launched as a Supergirl spin-off. It was never ever launched as a Supergirl spin-off because they've never even mentioned her. Again, Andy, your bias is there. Superman and Lois follows Tyler Hoechlin and Bitsy Tulloch's Clark Kent and Lois Lane as they navigate their lives as superheroes and reporter, respectively, while raising a family in Smallville. Since their premiere in 2021, Superman and Lois has quickly become one of the most popular Arrowverse shows on the CW, which will be back for season 3. Superman and Lois season 2, Superman and Lois season 2 has focused on the Arrowverse's interpretation of Bizarro World. While taking some creative liberties, this has allowed the Arrowverse to reintroduce the multiverse, a beloved concept that was a huge part of the franchise up until the Crisis on Infinite Earths crossover, which was a soft reboot for the universe. Unlike some of the other Arrowverse dramas, Superman and Lois features only 15 episodes per season. Can I just say something? Anything over 15 episodes is slave labour to, the crew and the cast. It's very difficult, 15 episodes a season. Smallville used to do 20 plus episodes a year. They all used to. It's slave labour. I personally don't think a season should be any longer than 10 episodes. Now, I used to be angry at that. I used to like the 20 episode seasons, but now, knowing more about how the industry works, I think it's slave labour, and I think 10 episodes a season for any show is more than enough. Anyway, meaning season 2 is coming closer to its end. Superman and Lois season 3 was confirmed back in March, but details about its story have so far been heavily limited. Even though Superman and Lois season 2 hasn't finished airing yet, one of its stars is already teasing what's coming next season. In a new interview with Entertainment Tonight, Tulloch, who has portrayed Lois since the Elseworlds crossover, let one detail slip about the new baddie without revealing the next foe's identity. Tulloch was very excited about the upcoming big bad for Superman and Lois season 3. I will say that I do know we are getting a very cool villain. Can I say that? Laughs. But who is it? Based on Tulloch's comments, it wouldn't be shocking if Superman and Lois season 2 concludes with the arrival of a new villain to help set up the next season. This is a path a lot of Arrowverse shows take, either name-dropping or outright featuring a new foe in a season finale, to tease what the heroes will be up against next. Whether season 3's baddie will be another famous Superman villain from the DC comics or not remains to be seen. Something Superman and Lois has continually done since season 1 is play with viewers' expectations from the big reveal that Morgan Edge was actually Kal-El's half-brother. Yeah, that was so expertly done. To the cloaked figure being Bizarro rather than Doomsday. In addition to that, Bizarro wasn't ultimately the true main villain, but rather a new take on Ali Alston, who also operates as a parasite in the comics. Time will tell if Superman and Lois season 2 ends with the writers setting up the next foe. I believe they will. One detail that is known about the remaining episodes of the season is that Superman and Lois will address Arrowverse connections. Yes, the showrunner Todd Helbing has hinted about that, explaining why it hasn't referenced Supergirl or the larger franchise in general. Superman and Lois season 3 will be one of 3 DC dramas to arrive in 2023, as The Flash season 9 and the new series Gotham Knights are being saved for mid-season. Given that the show will be an extended hiatus, it would make sense to end Superman and Lois season 2 with at least a little taste of who the Man of Steel will face in season 3 as his next villain. Yes, so very, very interesting. So who do I think it could be? Some people believe it's Lobo, or actually this time, Doomsday, but I'm going to go for Jon Cryer's Lex Luthor. I wasn't very excited when Jon was announced as Lex Luthor. I mean, seeing we had such an epic TV Lex Luthor in Smallville, and we'll talk about him at the end of the video. Jon Cryer from Superman 4, who played Lenny, and, the sitcom with Charlie Sheen, I thought, how is this going to work? But in fact, Jon Cryer was an amazing Lex Luthor, and certainly one of my favourites. He put heart and soul and character and personality within the character. This is real acting. And I think that's who's going to be the main villain in season 3 of Superman and Lois. But get in the comments and let me know who you think will be the villain in season 3 of Superman and Lois. Are there any Legends of Tomorrow fans in the house? Because Katie Lotz has spilt what they would have done for the cancelled season 8, and I'm very interested in finding this out as well, because I was a big fan back in the first season of Legends of Tomorrow, but it went the direction all the other shows went, and that's a shame. Cancelled Legends of Tomorrow season 8 story details revealed by Star. Katie Lotz reveals some of the stories that would have taken place in Legends of Tomorrow season 8 before the CW cancelled the show. Well, actually, they were cancelled by David Zaslav because he didn't want anything that doesn't make a profit. They are selling the CW. These shows cannot go with the CW once it's sold. So you either go over to HBO Max and carry on if you've got enough of an audience, or you got cancelled. They got cancelled, but they had 7 seasons, everyone. That's an amazing thing for this show with the very few kind of audience ratings that they had. But of course, that one, I think, was it that one, is it $1 million or $1 billion deal? It was a $1 billion deal they had, I think, with Netflix, whatever it was. It was a lot of money, and that's what kept all these shows, these very, shows that didn't have a lot of people watching them, that's what kept them going. Anyway, so Katie Lotz reveals some of the stories that would have taken place in Legends of Tomorrow season 8 before the CW cancelled the show, again by Andy, whose surname I can't announce. He's, by the way, disclaimer, he's a big Arrowverse fan. Katie Lotz, who portrayed Sarah Lance, White Canary on Legends of Tomorrow, reveals some of the cancelled season 8 storylines. The CW changed the status quo for many shows this year, after being famously known for renewing most of their shows every year in previous seasons. The Warner Media and Paramount-owned network stated every new year by handing out multiple renewals for several popular dramas, including the Arrowverse. However, 2022 changed that when it revealed that the two studios are looking to sell the CW, with Nexstar reportedly as a top candidate. Due to the CW's future still being in flux, the network had to delay its renewals and cancellations for the next season. By the time the CW began to renew a handful of shows in March, Legends of Tomorrow had already finished airing season 7, as had Batwoman season 3. However, on April the 29th, the CW officially gave the axe to both Legends of Tomorrow and Batwoman, while DC newcomer Naomi got cancelled after 1 season on May the 12th. Legends of Tomorrow Season 7 concluded on a major cliffhanger as the heroes get arrested by the Time Police. While Legends of Tomorrow may never get to finish that cliffhanger, what would Season 8 actually have looked like? If the CW had greenlit it, Lotz, who has been with the Arrowverse since Season 2, recently attended Motor City Comic Con, where she spoke about the scrap DC drama during her panel via Cosmic Circus. Lotz disclosed some of the cancelled storylines that would have been part of Legends of Tomorrow Season 8. Lotz explained that Legends of Tomorrow Season 8 would have essentially been the heroes against the Time Police. Read her full quote below. We were going to be in jail, so basically we're kind of learning how to be responsible time masters. So to say, time travelers so like retraining, so they were going to have us in jail with a bunch of young cadets and stuff, and then we're the old school ones, like we know how to do all of this, but we are doing it all wrong. And then we have the whole Booster Gold storyline, wow, which I thought was going to be so fun, but that's kind of all I know about that. And then, of course, Ava and Sarah's kids. Of course, we can't forget that now, can we? But anyway, even though not specifically stating Legends of Tomorrow Season 8 would have more than likely served as the show's final one Throughout Legends of Tomorrow Season 7, the writers had started to set up the heroes' lives outside the Wave Rider, alluding to the series reaching its final destination. Since the show's cancellation, fans have been running social media campaigns to get Legends of Tomorrow saved, as well as getting Batwoman a series revival on HBO Max. You have got no chance. I'll tell you what though, you've got more chance of saving Legends of Tomorrow than Batwoman. Chances for Legends of Tomorrow getting picked up for Season 8 elsewhere are slim due to Netflix still owning the streaming licensing rights for at least a few more years. Wow! But in that case, maybe Netflix would be interested in doing that. Problem is, Netflix are in a lot of financial trouble right now. While Legends of Tomorrow may not be coming back as a series, Arrowverse still has ways to include the show. The Flash's Armageddon event in Season 8 brought many heroes over from shows that were already over, with Batwoman's Javicia Leslie being the one exception. Just because a show comes to an end, whether it be on its own terms or through cancellation, it doesn't necessarily mean farewell to those characters for good. You'll be very, very lucky to see Javicia Leslie again. But maybe that's me. Maybe we're dealing with a network that would do that. Who knows? Depending on what storylines they do next year, it wouldn't be unheard of for The Flash Season 9 to find a way to tie up loose ends for Legends of Tomorrow, especially as they also tackle time travel every season. That's true, they could find a way to help wrap up that arc. The problem is, it would just be a mention, wouldn't it? Or they'd have a little bit of screen time. It would be very empty and hollow. But maybe you Legends of Tomorrow fans would really appreciate that. Let me know in the comments below. Titan star comments on possible Red Hood spin-off series. Kieran Waters, who portrays Jason Todd on HBO Max's Titans, talks about whether or not he would be game to star in a Red Hood spin-off series, again by Andy, whose surname I can't pronounce. Screen Rant, don't you have any other journalists? Kieran Waters, who plays Jason Todd on Titans, talks about whether or not he would be interested in starring in a Red Hood spin-off series. Since Titans premiered in 2018, the DC TV show has served as a vehicle for not one, but two famous mythologies. Primarily, Titans is a gritty adaptation of the Teen Titans mythology, following Dick Grayson's life after leaving his Robin days behind him as Dick becomes Nightwing. The former Boy Wonder leads a band of young superheroes taking on various threats season after season. While Titans is mostly about the team, the HBO Max drama also operates as a platform for additional Batman family members, including Bruce Wayne, played by Ian Glenn. Over the course of the show's run, Titan has added famous Batman players like Jason Todd, Tim Drake, and Barbara Gordon. In the middle of Titan Season 1, Jason was introduced as the new Robin before becoming a fully fledged member of the Titans team in the following season. However, Titans Season 3 adapted Jason's death from Batman: A Death in the Family, which saw him evolve into the anti-hero Red Hood, who became one of the season's main villains. Hang on a minute, the actual site's gone down, so I have to go back. Where are we? Right. So where are we there? So let's go back. Sorry about this. Right, here we are. Sorry about that. Damn, I'm full of pop-ups here, aren't I? Right, sorry about that, let's continue. As Jason's role in the Titans universe has expanded over the years, could Red Hood possibly get his own spin-off? In a new interview with Cosmic Circus, Waters chatted about the potential of a solo project for his Titans character. While Waters couldn't speak to any rumours, the 24-year-old star is more than ready to lead a Red Hood show, should that opportunity ever be presented to him. When asked if he knew anything about the Red Hood spin-off rumours and if he'd be up for it, Curran said, "I have no idea last, but of course I want to do a Red Hood show. Of course, I love this character, you know, I grew up with this character now, so that would be absolutely amazing." So yeah, while Jason walked away alive at the end of Titans Season 3, Red Hood's status in Season 4 remains a mystery. Supposedly Waters is back for Titans Season 4, but in what capacity remains unclear for the time being. Titans Season 4 is currently in production in Toronto, Canada, with only 12 episodes this year as opposed to the regular 13. Wait, You're saying 12, 12 instead of 13. That's a big reduction or anything, Andy. Wow. Even though Warner Brothers TV and HBO Max haven't confirmed it yet, Titans' Brendan Thwaites has stated that season 4 is supposedly premiering sometime in October. So if Brendan says that, it's happening. It wouldn't be a bad idea to have Jason take off in a Red Hood spin-off, as it would help a significant problem that Titans has been dealing with for years. A common criticism about Titan structure is the massive load of characters that they keep introducing to what is already a big cast. It had mostly prevented other long-running characters from getting further development and makes Titans feel very overcrowded. While critics and some fans love the term overcrowded, we got it with Batman Returns, which is not overcrowded and it works for all its characters. I don't agree with this, but let them carry on. As their universe keeps growing, doing a number of Titan spin-offs would help the main series, as well as expand HBO Max's DC TV slate. And Red Hood would be a great choice, which would allow for Jason's journey to get further fleshed out. I would be very interested in a Jason Todd spin-off, so bring it on, but I don't like this oversaturated, this overstuffed complaint. Because amazing. It's amazing. Think about it. There's all these great DC characters in one show and you see them, but you can't see them all the time, and that's okay. Chill. If you're enjoying the show, despite that, just relax. It's awesome. It's okay. It's called world building, not being overstuffed. And finally today, anyone who's been following me for any amount of time knows the respect I have for Smallville. For me, it's one of the best DC live action versions of all time, and it made me an even bigger Superman fan than I was before. Smallville is a thing of beauty, and it happened before we all went insane, right? And Michael Rosenbaum's Lex Luthor, for me, is the best live action Lex Luthor. Yes, he was on a television show. He did have longer to mold his character arc for 7 seasons, but he did an amazing job. Lex Luthor in Smallville isn't about a supervillain. It's commentary on nurture versus nature. So Screen Rant have done a little chart, a little ranking of all the live action Lex Luthors, and Michael Rosenbaum even quote tweeted it. So brilliant. I have a lot of time for Michael Rosenbaum. Superman. The 10 best Lex Luthor actors according to Ranker. Superman's nemesis Lex Luthor has been portrayed in live action and animated projects by numerous actors, but which ones have done a better job? By Philip Artemis of Screen Rant. In the recently concluded 2nd season of Superman and Lois, viewers were introduced to all kinds of fascinating villains, including Bizarro, Jonathan, the version of John Kent from the Shadow Dimension. Given that the show has been renewed for a 3rd season, fans will be hoping for the appearance of more Superman foes. As I said earlier, I think Lex Luthor and I think John is coming back from Supergirl as Lex Luthor, and that would really excite me. Anyway, one of those is Lex Luthor, who has always been to Superman what Joker is to Batman exactly. The two have feuded for decades, and as such, Lex Luthor has been portrayed by multiple actors in both live action and animation, but according to Ranker, some of the actors have been way more impressive than the rest. Number 10, Jason Isaacs, Justice League Gods and Monsters. Isaacs is best known as Detective Michael Britton in Awake, and as Dr. Hunter Lois Hap Percy. In the OA, his performances have earned him recognition across different award bodies, including a Golden Globe nomination. Modelled after Professor X, the version of Luthor portrayed by Isaacs moves around in a hover chair. He happens to be a professor too, and comes off as more likeable because he is more interested in scholarly matters than feuding with Superman. But that's boring. And the actor sure does bring out Luthor's demeanour perfectly through hushed vocals and few but effective words. Isaac's Luthor is also full of as a friend than a foe by many other characters. President Amanda Waller appoints him as her advisor, while Wonder Woman takes him on a journey of space with her. Imagine having Amanda Waller as the fucking president. The woman's a fucking sociopath. But hey, representation. 9. Stephen Blum, Justice League The Flashpoint Paradox 2013, Justice League Throne of Atlantis 2015. Blum is one of the actors who voiced both DC and Marvel characters in their career. Apart from Lex Luthor, he has been the Penguin and Wolverine 2 back in 2012. He also entered the Guinness World Records as the actor with the most video game voice acting credits. Blum's Luthor is a distinctive one because he isn't the main boss. Instead, he's a member of a team assembled by Slade Wilson to infiltrate Atlantis. That he's up against Aquaman instead of Superman is also a welcome deviation, as Superman has experimented with several fictional characters throughout his career. Blum does a great job of making Luthor sound like an obedient subordinate instead of the scheming leader that he usually is. I prefer what he already is. 8. Rainn Wilson, The Death of Superman 2018, Reign of the Superman. So this is interesting because a few years back, recently actually, they did a double feature. And the first part was called The Death of Superman and The Reign of the Superman. Now basically this was the Death of Superman story redone in animation. They did do a short movie from The Death of Superman years before that I actually prefer, but this was really epic too. And Rainn Wilson did a really good job as Lex Luthor. From fans best remember Wilson as Dwight from The Office, a role that earned him 3 Emmy nominations. He is known an activist too, specifically focusing on climate change. Oh, everyone's an activist these days, but in the old days you had to get out there to be an activist. These days you just tap on Twitter and then call yourself an activist. Anyway, and by the way, climate change is important. I'm not saying that it's not. Anyway, though Wilson shines in comedic roles, his Lex Luthor is a stone one, hardly delivering any corny lines. Wilson's Luthor also distinguishes himself from the rest by desperately trying hard to be seen as a hero instead of being comfortable in his own skin. And he proves himself as one of the most powerful Superman villains by suiting up and trying to defeat Doomsday just so he can be seen as the true saviour of Metropolis. But as is mostly the case, he comes short. 7. James Masters, Superman Doomsday. This is the animated movie I was talking about. James Masters is an excellent Lex Luthor, and I think he's the best Lex Luthor voice actors I've ever seen. James Masters, obviously from Buffy fame, and he played a brilliant version of Brainiac for Smallville as well. So the irony is not lost on me. Masters made a name for himself as Spike in Buffy the Vampire Slayer. He can also be counted among the actors who played multiple DC characters, as he was also Brainiac in Smallville. Masters' Luthor is perhaps the most frantic one, and the actor showcases that perfectly even through his breathing patterns. As someone who has played villains many times before, Masters perfectly captures Luthor's disappointment and glee as the villain rues about Doomsday killing Superman instead of him, and goes on to create clones of the Kryptonian. 6. Kevin Spacey, Superman Returns. Before we get into this, I know Kevin has done a lot of terrible things, and I don't approve of those terrible things, by the way. I want us to distinguish the artist from the man. I'm not interested in the man. I think his Lex Luthor in Superman Returns is absolutely fantastic. Now, he's supposed to be the Gene Hackman version, but Kevin actually admitted this. Spacey admitted that he modelled his Lex on an older version of Michael Rosenbaum's Lex, and that's how well Michael Rosenbaum did. He had a prolific actor like Spacey modelling his Lex on the Smallville version of Lex. That's amazing. For over 3 decades, Spacey was one of Hollywood's A-list. However, his career came to a halt when he was exposed as a sexual predator during the Me Too movement. Of course, it's all down to Me Too. That's what exposed him. One thing Kevin Spacey does well is coming up with an intimidating voice, and he does that as Luthor makes plans to restore his damaged reputation and conquer the US. Though Spacey's Luthor has the same love for real estate as the one portrayed by Gene Hackman. He's the same version as the Gene Hackman one. He's more serious than campy. His arrogance is pumped up a notch higher. 5. John Shea, Lois and Clark, The New Adventures of Superman. By the way, John Shea is a very popular version of Lex Luthor. I was never into the Lois and Clark TV show or his version of Lex, but I respect and understand that people love his version. Shea has had numerous movie and TV roles throughout his career, winning an Emmy in the process. His other major roles is that of Harold Waldorf in Gossip Girl. Shay as Superman is, right, he's not. Shay as Lex Luthor is easy to pick up from the rest because he isn't bald. He happens to be madly in love with Lois, hence the reason he keeps desiring to take down Clark Kent. Given Luthor's unique tastes, Shay's acting skills are best demonstrated whenever he is reciting Shakespeare poems or swaying his body to the tunes of classical songs. In general, there's more to love than to hate about this interpretation of Luthor. This is very interesting because he spends a lot of scenes talking to himself in a room on his own. Now, this is what they used to do in the cheaper soap operas like Santa Barbara, and that kind of put me off. Very good actor though, for sure. 4. John Cryer, Supergirl. As I said earlier, I loved John Cryer as Lex Luthor. I wasn't happy about his casting. I thought he was great in Superman 4, by the way. One of the better elements of the movie. And he was brilliant in the sitcom with Charlie Sheen. So he's a very good actor, but I thought, this guy, this is just a cheap kind of piece of casting. But he was fucking amazing. Cryer fans best known him as Alan Harper from 2.5 Men, and Supergirl isn't the only Superman-related project he has been a part of. Additionally, he played Lex Luthor's nephew, Lenny Luthor, in Superman 4. Cryer's Luthor is one of the best Arrowverse villains because he's a great pretender. He normally presents himself as a calm and compassionate person, but he's extremely sadistic and remorseless. As a human supremacist who believes in the elimination of aliens, he makes inappropriate remarks on the regular, but thanks to Cryer's delivery, they come out in a palatable manner. I don't think that John Cryer and Tyler Hoechlin have ever spent a scene together. I don't know if it happened in Crisis. I don't think it did. They decided to have him with Supergirl instead. Representation, right? It matters, right? Anyway, this is why I'm desperate to see him in Superman and Lois. To have him and Hoechlin up against each other in a whole season of Superman and Lois would be magical because John Cryer truly is one of the great versions of Lex Luthor. 3. Gene Hackman, Superman, 1978 to 87. Now, for me as a kid, obviously he was the only Lex Luthor, but he was a great Lex Luthor. Considered one of Hollywood's best ever actors, Hackman had a career that spanned 6 decades. During that time, he won 2 Oscars and 4 Golden Globes. Hackman's Luthor is the typical 80s villain who would do just about any foolish thing to make sure the hero is dead, and some of the things the actor nails are the facial expressions and the gestures. Luthor's constant frustration as Superman outsmarts him is entertaining to watch, and so are his planning moments. He's a really good Lex Luthor. He comes across really campy now. Rosenbaum destroyed any other version of Lex Luthor, and he doesn't make Hackman look that good as Lex anymore. That's a great achievement by an actor on a television show, on a teenager's television network. But I loved Gene Hackman as Lex Luthor, and it works for what they wanted to do in that movie. Imagine having a Superman movie, the first Superman superhero movie of all time, having Marlon Brando, Gene Hackman, and Glenn Ford in the same fucking movie. For me, that's amazing. 2. Clancy Brown, Justice League 2001 to 3. Justice League Unlimited 2004 to 6. So this actor is on a fucking iconic scale and people love him as Lex Luthor. I'm not surprised he's the second in this vote. Often cast in authoritative roles, Brown has appeared in over 50 movies and TV shows. Among his biggest roles is that of Captain Byron Hadley in The Shawshank Redemption. He was amazing in Shawshank. Since he is used to playing authoritative roles, it's easy to tell that Brown feels right at home in the DCEU. His Luthor brags and shouts more than the rest because he considers himself superior to all mortals, and the high vocal pitches are all presented beautifully by the veteran actor. Brown's Luthor becomes an even more challenging foe later on when his brain merges with that of Brainiac. Can I just say something? I know he's getting older now. I would literally shave off this dude's hair and have him as Lex Luthor in a live-action Superman movie. I would bloody do it, and he would kill it. He may not really look like Lex, but he's got the voice. He's iconic because of the animated Justice League shows. I say, we do this. But number 1, and there can only be one number 1, Michael Rosenbaum's Smallville, 2001 to 2011. In fact, he was in 7 full seasons of Smallville. and he came back for the series finale. One of Rosenbaum's recent major roles is that of the Pluto scientist Martinex in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Yes, he played a very small role in that. He's very good friends with James Gunn. Apart from acting, he's also the lead singer of the band known as Spin Spun. One of the reasons Rosenbaum's Luthor is held in high regard is because he's the most knowledgeable one. Apart from figuring out science concepts, he quotes historical figures with ease and always uses literal facts to back up his opinion. Not to forget, he is the only version of the villain that's ever granted a proper origin story. Listen, Alfred Gough and Miles Miller did something amazing here, and so did Michael. They came up with a creative conceit. Lex Luthor is supposed to be intelligent. Tick, he's intelligent in Smallville. He's a great student. He's got issues, but he's a great student. So him and Lionel, his father, he doesn't have a father in the comics, but in Smallville, his father was played by the enigmatic, multiple talented John Glover, and that dynamic works. But all the historical references weren't just awesome, actually educated 28-year-old me. And that is the full list of Lex Luthors. Look, I could go on forever. The video's gone on for far too long already. It'll probably upload in 20 years' time. But let me just say, what they did with Michael Rosenbaum's Lex Luthor was fantastic. I'm very excited about the Smallville animated series. But I want to see Michael Rosenbaum play Lex Luthor in live action once again. This has been the DCEU Daily with me, Mick, your host with the most. Just ask your girlfriends and your wives. Please like, share, comment, subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you never miss this beautiful perfection. And I'll see you again, if I ever see you again, after, will I survive doing this really long video? I don't know. But I will see you again in the next video. Till we see each other again, goodbye, au revoir, auf Wiedersehen.